Everyone, this is Vergara back again with another video. It's Peso Monday. I'm editing a video right now. I totally forgot to make a video. In this video, we interview Dennis Vergara of Vergara Bulls. He breeds American Bulldogs, and I wanted to basically interview him about the business end of breeding, because when you are a breeder like myself and many of my friends, check this video out when I interviewed my friend Jericho Arnaiz, and check his channel out as well. In order to get the vision of the dream dog, everybody has a dream dog of what they want to produce. But the problem is, it takes money and time to do this. So many people get into breeding and it becomes inevitably a business. And today, I wanted to just pick his brain about that experience and things like that, because it has its ups and downs just like with any business. And I just wanted to show that part of the breeding game, the dog game. So I hope you enjoy the video and check it out. How you got into the American Bullies? Why American Bullies? Why not Dachshunds? Why not German Shepherds and things like that? I'll give you the floor.
My name is Dennis Vergara. I'm from Vergara Bulls. Man, I've been breeding since 2015. You know what? It started off with one of my friends introducing me to the American Bulldogs. From there, man, he's like, hey, check out these dogs. You know, and I'm like, I didn't know the breed at the time, so I'm like, and then he's like, oh, they're American Bulldogs. Mm-hmm. I knew the English Bulldogs, and I'm like, are these like the English? He's like, better. He's like, these, you can kind of go hike and run with them and exercise, so you'll be good. He's like, oh, okay. So I purchased a female, Monroe. That was my first American Bulldog. I still have her now. She's you know, going probably, what is it, about 7 years now. Mm-hmm. She's just at home, just chilling now. You know, she did her thing. And man, I loved her. I love that breed just because the way they were with kids, man. They show this protectiveness of them that it amazed me, you know. And then I was like, oh, you know, I didn't know. I knew other breeds could do that, but it just, something captured me, and I was like, I like that. I want to continue that, you know. I want to keep doing that. So that same friend, he was into dog shows. So he's like, hey, check this dog show out, you know, just so you could get a feel of what it is, showing dogs and stuff. And I'm like, okay. So we went out to, it's called the Catalina Wine Mixer American Bulldog Show here in California. Mm-hmm. And it's hosted by the Bybees American Bulldogs. Mm-hmm. We went, we checked it out, and I fell in love with it, man. And I told my wife, I was like, I want to do this. Like, I want to get into this. Mm. So, you know, from there I started breeding my dogs. And I purchased a couple of dogs overseas. And crazy story, though. When I purchased these dogs, I didn't tell my wife that I was getting them. So when they showed up, you know, she was like, well, how much money did you spend? And I was like, but you know what? Once the dogs were here, man, she was 100% supportive of them, and then, you know, without her, really, I can't say I will be able to do it, man. Because while I'm at work, she's the one that's feeding them, right, cleaning up after them. So she's a really supportive wife.
That's really amazing. Like, is that dog Mighty Diesel? Is that the one that imported?
Mighty Diesel, yeah. I imported him from Italy.
Wow,
yeah.
He is a beautiful dog. He is a beautiful dog. I love the headpiece on him. They're considered that's Johnson's line, right? Is that Johnson's line? Right. Why did you choose Johnson's over Scott's?
You know what? I like the bigger body, the bigger head, the muscle.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like the I guess the Scott line. You know, they had a longer snout.
Yeah. And
in that case, I could have gone. You know, I don't know.
Pitbull, yeah. Or Dogo Argentino.
Exactly, yeah. But it was just the bully, the bully of the dog that I liked. The head, just his whole body structure of it. You know, the muscle tone, and that's what caused it. So, you know, that's why I went with the Johnsons.
I definitely prefer the Johnsons. Even I've been breeding like American Bullies, but that's pretty much the look they want. That brick head. with a nice stop and everything. That's pretty much what they're trying to achieve, and that's why they're, you know, with the whole micro scene, the whole exotic scene. They don't want the snipey face. They want the bully look. But I mean, I've had American Bulldogs. Actually, in the house now we have an American Bulldog, but it's a Scott version. But the one we had before was a Johnson's. Beautiful dogs. Compared to like the scene in Cali for American Bulldogs, you know American Bullies are everywhere now. They're just they're just the in thing right now.
Correct.
Is there a huge community for American Bulldog owners comparable to American Bullies?
You know what? It's starting to grow. You know, because now I see more people getting into the American Bulldog. You know, I know that in the beginning, when I was attending the American Bulldog dog shows, there was really not that much of people attending, maybe 5 to 8 dogs at a time. But through the years past, man, I noticed more people are getting into it. And I think they're realizing that it's a great family pet, you know? So this year, the only show that I attended was in February, and after that, you know, the whole pandemic started and they canceled all the shows. Man, we had a good outcome at that show. I'm not gonna lie, I think there was in the first show, I think it was about 30 dogs compared to 5 to 8 dogs, you know.
Oh, that's a lot of dogs in a show.
Yeah, it was, man. And so they had to make the ring a little bit bigger than it was. So it was pretty cool. So I do see it, you know, I see people getting more into it. So I see that the community, it is growing, because now they do that meet and greet. You know, they host it sometimes on Saturdays, and they welcome all bully breeds. So, you know, they show up and you introduce yourself and people know your kennel, and, you know, you just interact. It's not a show, it's just a, you know, meet and greet.
I mean, I've never been out on the West Coast, but I've been seeing like there's so much of a family nature over there when it comes to the dog community. Opposed to here, we only have summers. So, you know, but I mean, I personally think like people are focusing so much on the smaller, like basically they're trying to make toy American Bullies now. That's what they're trying to do.
I've seen that.
I'm starting to see the contrast of, okay, let's get them bigger, which is they're coming up with the XXLs and XLs, and then maybe they just don't want that pit bull name associated to that name. Maybe the other option is, oh, let me check out the American Bulldog. It's been in this country for hundreds of years, and it's super functional. So you know, you know what I'm saying. So for me, I don't agree. Me personally, some guys are gonna hate on me. I like standard American Bullies and functional bullies. I don't like the super small ones because it's like a little poodle you can kick around. Like if somebody comes into the house, you're gonna kick that little thing around. It's not scary. It's not scaring nobody.
And what I've seen, you know, I've started seeing a lot of health issues with those exotic ones. And man, I feel bad because I'm like, it's not even my dog, but I don't think the dog deserves that.
Like, you're talking about a turnaround, they're dead in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, I hope everyone treats their dogs like their children. You don't want your dog, you know, you don't want your dog dying in 5 years. And the fact that the dog is, I know bully breeds, you can't really put them in the sun too long because of, you know, heat stroke and stuff like that. But there has to be a balance of this dog can walk around in some type of sunlight. You know, this dog's not no vampire dog. He only comes out when, you know.
when it's cool, I attended I think the registry that is called USBR.
Okay, I've heard it.
So they invited me because they wanted more American Bulldogs to show.
Right.
So they invited me. I attended, and you know, and it was mainly bullies, exotics, pockets, you know, XLs, beautiful. You know, at that show, I remember I was there, right, and the guy was walking his dog, you know, to attend the show. He's walking him right in front of me. Boom, he falls. The dog just falls, overheated himself.
Oh yeah.
Literally, the dog died right in front of me. And I'm like. So suddenly I noticed that happened. Suddenly I see people running to their cars, grabbing like strollers. So now instead of walking the dog,
they're pushing them.
They're dragging them in the stroller, to the show. And I'm like, what kind of shit is this?
So, I feel you.
You know, I was like, you know, each people are different, but I like my dog to walk on its own.
Of course,
you know, I like them. You know, that experience there, it was first time seeing something like this, and I'm like, man. So I started reading up a little bit on it, and they told me, they were like, a lot of bullies have health problems. Some of them can't breathe for shit. It's like, and literally, you know, you take them out 5 minutes, they'll literally just drop there. I'm there. I have the only American Bulldog, in my class.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you beat your class, then you go against the other classes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And people kept asking me like, "Man, what kind of dog is that? Like, what is it?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's American Bulldog." And they were like, "Oh, is it like the English Bulldog, but you infused it like with an XL and it grew like this?"
Yeah.
I was like, no. I was like, it's American Bulldog. I was like, so from that, I had a lot of people with the XL come to me asking me for stud service, and I did a couple of them. And, a couple of people from the American Bulldog was like, "Well, why are you studying him out to that?" And I was like, "Look, I stud him out. He's there to all breeds.
Right.
Whoever wants to use him to their program
to
help them, hey, I'm all forward." I was like, I know they're not doing nothing else. I think that's the reason that a lot of the guys from the XL they saw how well Diesel was breeding. And I remember it was like 102 at the time here in Cali because it was in the summer. And they saw he was darting around the ring like nothing. He's a big dog.
Right.
And then, he was calm, and then we're like, man, he's like, "Do you exercise your dog?" I was like, "Look, he gets his walks daily. He's like, take him out to the park, let him run around. That's about it. But has to do a lot with, I try to breed with big nares. I like to produce dogs with big nares.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that has helped my my kennel.
Right.
Because I've noticed a lot of other American Bulldogs have tight nares, and they have harder time breeding.
Right.
So I try to breed away from that. And this past puppies that I've been getting, all of them have been producing big nares. And man, I'm telling you, I sold a couple of dogs to Texas. Texas gets hot.
Oh, hot.
So and the dogs are running. The guys got acres of land, and the dogs running after cattle, whatever, and the dogs are doing well. So that kind of made me proud, and I'm like, I'm doing something right. I'm bettering the breed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna continue doing it.
Yeah. I'm with you on, if you gotta breed out and then breed back in to get that health factor in there, I'm fine with it. Because you can't be that much of a purist, because all our dogs are all inbred.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, all our dogs are inbred. So, because you have to. Why do you think like if you were to breed? I don't know if you've seen those new designer dogs, or Daniffs.
Yes.
Yeah, because English Mastiffs go through a lot of health issues, their whole own health issues, and the only way sometimes you have to kind of counteract those things is bring in another something else. And then that's why I think I read an article months ago, like they're trying their best to encourage English Bulldog owners to breed something else into it, because of the pushed in face, it can't breathe. You're talking about $10,000 operations for them to open up their sinuses, and it's stupid. Like, that's all human error for me, and I don't think that's right for the dog, because you're not basing it. Yeah, that's why I have small debates with my friends. I'm like, you're picking dogs on looks rather than function. Which sucks. Like, of course, if the dog looks amazing, it's fine, but obviously you don't want the dog to hang out for 5 years. You want a 15-year-old dog. That's good. Like, you want a dog that in the daylight will be able to protect you if need be. Still be aware of its surroundings, because it can't just guard you at night. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
For me, this is my opinion, and I tell my friends, I'm very blunt with my friends. I'm like, think about it. If you're paying $30,000-$40,000 for a dog, number one priority is try to recoup, because at that point it's a business.
Exactly,
no one's spending $80,000 on a dog thinking it's like real. In reality, who's gonna really think it's a pet at $80,000? That's a legit business, because that's like me buying into a franchise and then I want to try to recoup my money. They're trying to turn these dogs around, which is not so good. That's why I looked you up a few months ago, American Bulldogs, because I got the bully look, which I like. I got the muscle there, and I have that that man stopper look. Like, okay.
I sold a dog to a guy up there in New York. He's in Brooklyn.
It was like a blue brindle with a white. Or it looked like a blue. Was it a brindle-ish or brownish or something like that?
Brindle, yeah. Well, he purchased it, and man, he loves that dog. He came down he flew down here to Cali. He spent the whole day here with me, and because I told him, I was like, you could ship the dog, ground ship. He's like, nah, man. He's like, I want to fly out there. I haven't been to the West Coast. Mm-hmm. He's like, are you okay with that? I was like, even perfect. like that, you're getting your dog from me straight handed. I'm handing it over. So he came down a whole day. He spent down here. You know, I showed him the city. He loved it, man, and I just had a litter not that long, on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I had a litter on Wednesday. He hit me up and he's like, I'm ready for I'm ready for another
Oh,
one.
wow.
He's like, I love this breed so much. Just because he gets so much attention in the streets when he's walking them, people are literally stopping in their cars asking me if they could take a picture.
Some of my dogs, they have big heads. I can imagine your dogs, right? I can imagine like in a car window, that thing popping out. It's like taking it. It's taking 2/3 of the window. Like, oh, this dog must be a beast inside there.
Yeah.
So, you know. So let's get into the business part of it, where you have to do the housekeeping. You're not after the money, but obviously you got to try to make sure you're going after your vision, pretty much, right? As a breeder, you're going after your vision, and most guys don't understand this. It's just consistently breeding pretty much the same look, the same temperament, the same, you know. So that takes money. That takes time and money to develop this program. So getting into the money part of it and everything like that. Oh, let's start with this one. What was your worst story ever? As in, oh man, I just invested so much and this is really effed up. This is messed up right now. Go ahead.
You know what? I think it was my first litter with my female that I purchased with Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was hyped about getting puppies and stuff, and I'm like, once it came down to her giving birth, man, that day it was no lie. I think a 24-hour labor.
Ooh.
I had to take her to the vet because she was stalling so long. You know, it was already 3 hours before the other pup. Something's wrong, you know. So I took her to the vet. On the way to the vet, you know, I had a little SUV. So I had her in the back, you know, and so I think she had 4 puppies at the time.
Okay.
So my wife wasn't home, so I had my niece over. I think she was 7. And I was like, you know what? Get in the car with me, take the puppies. And she was scared. She's like, well, the mom is going to bite me. I'm like, no, she's going to be okay. Like, don't worry. So I'm driving to the vet. Suddenly, I look through the rear mirror, and I see her with a pup in her mouth.
Oh.
I gave birth, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I pulled over. I got the puppy, you know, cleaned them up. I gave it to my niece. We got to the vet. I rushed her in, and I told the vet, you know what? It's been 3 hours that she had, you know, had another pup.
Yeah.
She just had one in the car. Can you check her? Because I don't want to, you know, see if anything is wrong in there.
Yeah.
So we get there, and, you know, the vet bills came. Boom. They had to do x-ray.
Oh, yeah.
Ultrasound, just everything. And I'm like, so they gave me antibiotics, and I'm like, man, you know, I just spent $2,000 just on her checkup and to see if she's okay. So the vet was like, oh, she got about 2 pups left. And he saw him. Yeah, he saw him. And he's like, I was like, but are they breech? Or everything's okay? He's like, yeah, they don't look like they're breech. He's like, but if you want to take them out now.
C-section.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I was like, man, I you know, I'm barely starting at this. I was like, I don't got this money to be spending like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, is there another choice? And they were like, yeah, we could give her a shot just to induce labor.
Oh, the oxytocin or something, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, let's do that. And if that doesn't work, then we'll go through the C-section. So he gave it to him there. She had 1 pup at the bed. She's like, you could take her home. I was like, she's going to be inducing them pretty soon. So I'm like, all right. So we got home. She had the other one. And I'm thinking, okay, she's done. Like, she's done. So I'm like, okay, I'm relieved. Oh, no, man. Suddenly I see, like, at the 4th hour, she's pushing. I'm like, maybe she's, you know, she's throwing her placenta out, whatever. No, another pup came. And I was like, man, I called the vet. I was like, I thought you said there was only 2 puppies left in there. And he's like, oh, I probably didn't catch it. They were probably lined up together, and I only saw 2. So at the end, she had another 2.
She had 4 in there.
4 in there. So I'm already down maybe $3,000 there.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm like, hey, it's worth me saving my dogs, just making sure she's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so from that, I lost 2 of the puppies. You know, they had that what is it that they call that fading away, that puppy.
Oh, was it like hypoglycemic, where they would they'd be really weak and then stiff up real quick? Yeah. I've gone through a few of those. Yeah.
So I lost 2 of those, and so, you know, And after that, you know, the wife at the moment, she's supportive, but she's like, oh, the puppies are dying. And, you know, she's like, what else can we do? You know, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
I feel you.
I'm trying to raise these pups. I'm like, all right, well, you know, let's try to sell them. And, you know, at that time, nobody knew who I was. You
Right,
know, the
right.
name was like, a lot of people try to lowball you. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, you know, like, so I was ending up with pups that were already, you know, 4 or 5 months. And I'm like, man, I can't get rid of these dogs. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't have that much room in the city to have all these dogs.
Yeah.
You know, at the end, I end up giving some away to family members that
Right.
I knew they will give them good homes. That's one thing I like to kind of meet the people that are gonna take the dogs now. I kind of do,
Of course.
a random checkup on them. You know, see
Yeah.
how's everything, because I just don't want my dogs to end up anywhere. So that's what I do now in my contracts when I sell a dog is no questions asked. If you can't keep the dog, I'll take it back. It doesn't matter the age or whatever it is.
Right.
I'll take it back. And there's been a couple of occasions that a couple of people had called me talking about, you know what, I'm moving, I can take the dog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's fine. I was like, I'll take it. I'll get it back, and usually I always find a good home for them, and yeah, man, and but a lot of I guess you could say newcomers don't understand the struggle, because literally I didn't make no money. So since I come out, I just break even, just for everything, because you know, vet bills, vaccinations, food, you know, and then the of cleaning. Thing that a lot of people don't get is that the cleaning. People think dogs don't poo and stuff. Oh, puppies make a mess.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, all day. Then I feel you on that one. Like literally, it's like you have to be super disciplined to be a breeder.
Exactly. Yeah.
Early in the morning, if you got to walk them, train them, clean them up, and then you know, maybe let them rest and do some activities with them. Then late at night, recycle that again. It's like back home right now. I'm fortunate enough to be in a country where it's very cheap, labor is super cheap. So I have one and another guy that is just a sole caretaker of the dogs. So they're just paid employees to take care of the dogs. It's a job, you know. And like
it's a job. Yeah. When I say a lot of to these new guys, I tell them, if it's not a passion that you feel for the dog or the breed that you love, I don't think it's gonna work out. You might just, you know, maybe do it 1-2 years and then be like, screw this, I don't got time for this. I was like, but when you got passion for the breed and you love the dogs and everything, is you just committed to it. You're like, hey, let's continue, man. I like what I'm doing, and you know, you have your losses, you know, and I know you probably went through it before. Man, I had Bulldogs, when they get into it, man, it's a full throttle, man. It's like they want to kill each other. And I remember I was at work. And my dad called me, because my dad will come and check up on the dogs too. And, you know, and he called me. He's like, hey, the dogs got into it, and there's 2 laying down without moving. And I'm like,
oh no.
So I just told my boss, you know what, I got an emergency I got to attend to. I'm like, you know, I'll come back. Let me just check, see what's going on. I get there. I had just gotten a dog from, I was trying to line breed Diesel.
Yeah.
It was from Diesel sire. So this guy had purchased, he's in Kansas City.
Okay.
He had purchased a male from the same breeder I got Diesel in Italy, and he had just bred her to one of his females. So I was getting a pup out of him. So when the pup got there, her temperament, man, wasn't the best. She was skittish. And skittish dogs, man, are the worst.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that really are going to bite you.
Yeah, those are the ones that they move around and they do one of those, Yeah,
so, you know, when she got to my kennel, luckily my dogs, man, they kind of helped her break out of that. But still, every time, you know, I would try to pet her, she'll duck down. Yeah. But then she'll growl. So I'm like, oh, I need to snap her out of that.
Yeah.
You know, so Monroe, my first dog, she noticed that something was wrong, you know, like something's wrong with this dog. So I was feeding them, and I remember I reached to put food in her bowl, and she snapped. Oh. But Monroe was not next to me, that she corrected her, because she jumped right in front of me and kind of pinned her down, and I called Monroe. I was like, hey, it's okay. So she moved. So I'm like, okay. So after that, I was like, you know what? I don't know if it's gonna be safe to leave them by themselves, because just with that, what I saw, I'm like, something might happen. Right. So I put her name was Callie. Since the guy sent her over to me, he named her. He's like, oh, I named her Callie. I stood with that name. I was like, okay. So I put her in one of the kennels. You know, I would let her out when I was there. But if I was at work, you know, she was in the kennel. So that day, my dad called me. Somehow they jumped over the kennel. They got into it. And sure enough, Callie was not moving. Monroe was just laying there. She was hurt. So I lost Callie.
Oh, wow.
Took Monroe to the vet. Man, that's another $3,500 to stitch her up and try to save her life because she has to stay at the vet. And I'm like, really?
Another one.
So it takes a lot, man. It takes a toll on you. And those are the ones that are going to test you to see if you want to continue. I'm just wasting money here. And, you know, what am I doing? Dogs are killing each other. But incidents happen. You know, unfortunately, I lost that dog there. You know, so far, right now it's been good. You know, Diesel, man, a lot of people have been asking about him, acquiring. You know, I had a couple of people that purchased semen from me up in Washington. So we'll see if that, you know, goes through with their, you know, if hopefully the female take.
How old is Diesel?
He's going on 4 years.
Okay. Yeah, have you kept a few of his males off of him?
Yes, I kept one male. Literally that, because I did a breeding. I don't know if you saw that. My female Kalina, I imported her from the Netherlands.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard of Bulldog Bulls Kennel. John Pierre up in the Netherlands.
No, not familiar, but I'm sure if they're coming from the Netherlands and you found them, they must be well known.
Yeah, I did. So once she was at 8, I did the breeding with Diesel, and and I'm not gonna lie, man. I think from the previous litters I had, I think that one was the best one I had. Structure, temperament, size, everything was just in there, man. A lot. You know, on some of the litters, you just get few pups that are shows.
Yeah.
Like show dogs.
Yeah.
I could say maybe like 90% of the litter are show dogs.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of was good for me. And so from that litter, I had an agreement with a guy I knew that we were going to co-own them. And so I'll check on him like maybe every month. I'll go and see the dog.
He's there in Cali still?
Yeah, he's still here in Cali.
Okay.
So the last time I went, I saw that he had him in like really poor conditions, and for his age, I was like, man, he shouldn't be looking the way he's looking. You know,
right.
I could see rib cages, like if he wasn't eating. So I told him, you know, I was mad, and I told him, man, I was like, I don't like seeing my dogs like this.
Of course.
And I was like, we got the dog back. My wife was with me. We got him back, and you know, I'm like, okay, I have Diesel. This pup is, I think at that time he was about 8 months. And I was like, you know what? I'll take him in, and I'll see how Diesel reacts to another male.
Another male.
Yeah, it's another male. Diesel's the only male, and I have literally like 4 females, and he's the only male.
Wow.
The males usually I place them with people I know, like we co-own, because I only want to have one male. So I picked them up. My wife was with me when I went to pick him up. You know, I told the guy, you know what? No hard feelings, man. I was like, whatever reason you were not keeping up with the dog, I understand things get rough. I was like, but you should have called me, and you should have asked me, like, hey, I need some help with the dog or whatever.
Right.
So I took him to one of my good friend's house. I was like, hey, you know what? You want a dog? I was like, he'll be your dog. I was like, we could co-own him. I was like, because I do have plans for him for the future. So any breedings, everything, you know, I decide on him. And 100% he was like, yeah, definitely. Man, his wife was scared. She didn't want no dogs. Once she saw him, oh, man, she fell in love with him. They treated him like a baby. I could understand. Now I see that they're giving him a great life. And you might seen him. Maybe, I think I posted a video on my Instagram or Facebook. His name is Indo. He's in one of the kennels. He turned out beautiful. After he gained his weight and everything, I was surprised. And I had a couple of people asking about stud service, but I told them, you know what, he's still too young.
Yeah.
I was like, I want him to mature, and I want to see his full size, you know. So he still got a couple of more months to go, so I was like, we'll wait on that. But
Getting into breeding, there's a honeymoon period. You're in love with the dog.
yeah,
You're in love with this, or in love with that. What can you like for on the business end, breeder wise? What do you think is some good advice to what does a breeder wanting to get into that aspect of it, as in full on breeding and potentially showing these dogs? What do they have to prepare for? Like, what do you think you should have prepared for that you can tell other new breeders to prepare for, since you've been through the obstacles and through the gambit already?
you know what? I think if you're gonna start off, a good advice is to have a little bit of money saved up. Just just if your dog goes in labor, whatever, just have some money saved up. That's mainly what I say. I know people might spend 3, 4, 5 grand on the dog, but just having a little extra will help a lot. And having the space, man, to have multiple dogs. If you're only gonna have one, I understand. But if you're planning to have 4 or 5 dogs,
right,
just having the space, because it gets rough. Like, these dogs, Diesel weighs 125 pounds. Yeah, Kalina, she's like 105, 108. And I have a daughter from them that she's turning a year in 2 weeks, man. But she's solid 115.
That's a big girl.
Yeah, she took over Diesel genes because, man, she's getting a little bit taller than him.
Okay, wow.
The body size Diesel, he's a mature dog.
Yeah.
But she's getting there, and that blew me away, man.
It's like a she-male. She's turning out to be a she-male.
And I'll take a couple of pictures pretty soon, because I just bought a place out here in Cali. We call it the high desert.
Cool. I mean, a house, or you bought a property just for the dog?
I bought a house. I bought a house with property. I did it for the dogs, and for me and my wife too. We don't have kids.
Right.
We want to start a family.
Of course.
But
you need the space. But you need the space, though.
Well, I tell these guys a lot. I was like, look, I'm not comparing dogs to kids.
Right.
But it's like if you have a kid, when you have kids, you spend on your kids.
Of course.
And, it costs. I was like, dogs is the same thing, man.
Yeah.
They cost. I was like, so if you can take care of yourself first, it's gonna be hard taking care of a dog.
Yeah, you're right.
So I was like, think that before you purchasing or wanting to get, just because you see all this hype on social media that, man, this guy sold his dog for $5 grand or 10,000. He's like, oh, I want to do this, and
I feel you.
And I was like, all that it takes time to get to that place.
Of course.
And I was like, and some guys break before they even get there. They'll just throw the gloves and be like, man, that's it. I don't want to do this no more.
It's like with any business. Like, I have business in the Philippines, and like, I've been doing it since I was a kid, but it's like with anything, like, you got to nurture the thing.
Yeah,
you got to nurture. It's going to nurture, like, and just like with everything else in life, everything has growing pains.
Yeah.
You're like, it doesn't really matter how many times you stumble. It's the ones who get up and constantly, those are the ones you see with the 30,000, the 40,000 sales.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
Those are the guys. They'd be like, oh, I was just one breeding away from making all this bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just one breeding, because like with like there's a lot of hype around American bullies right now, which is like with I'm sure you're familiar with, like, I don't know if you're familiar with, like, Magoo, that dog that got bought for like $1 million. What was that, like 750? But like that, like, I have friends in the Philippines unloading 40,000 on a dog. So I'm like,
man.
I have a friend. No, it's not really. He's like an associate, a friend of a friend. He's doing his thing, but like you said, that's what everybody looks at Michael Jordan. Everybody looks at the LeBrons. Everybody looks at those guys and is like, yeah, I want to be that guy, but you don't know the backstory behind it. You don't know. Yeah. You can't build an empire with a shack.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, like before I go, like, what issues have you noticed with American Bulldogs having health-wise? Is it do they have cancers? Do they have, like, what is from your research and stuff like that?
They have a lot of allergies.
Okay, skin allergies.
Skin allergies.
You can't eat. Is that one of those things like you can't eat food with like preserved chicken type stuff? It has to be like type of raw. Like
yeah, like that. Yeah.
Same with mine.
Luckily, I think that's why I kind of pulled my Monroe.
Okay.
I think I got out of her 2 litters, and I noticed that they were having a skin problem.
Right.
And so I tested her, and she came back for allergies.
Okay.
So I cool her down. That's what I'm saying. She's just a pet. I spayed her, and I have her at home. She's a pet.
Right.
That's why I moved to, and started looking. So now each dog that I have tested health, health and hips, because
Right.
American Bulldogs, they give you bad hips too.
Okay.
So
Okay. Wow.
so so my dogs now, they don't have no allergies. I try to breed away from that, and
Yeah.
but yeah, mainly allergies on cancers.
That's.
It's
I,
rare when I hear that the
mm,
dog died out of cancer,
mm.
but it's mainly just allergies.
Now,
Just allergies.
do you think American Bulldogs, from when they're a puppy, socialization is very important? Can they become very rambunctious, like as they get older, if they don't get that socialization?
Correct. I believe so.
Okay.
If you start them at a young age, man, I think the dog develops well
Okay.
being around other people or even other dogs. But if you don't socialize the dog, I don't know, he might not react the same way as if you would have socialized them
Right.
since the beginning.
Right. Right. Right.
Uh,
Right.
and I think it's just you gotta learn how to walk before you run.
Of course. Yeah.
So I take that the same way as if socialize them young. They keep that in their head, and they continue once they're growing up. They have great socialization. Just like I could take Diesel anywhere.
Hmm.
He's good around other dogs, other people. The only thing he does when he feels, I tell a lot of people, dogs feed out of
Your
your
energy.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
like your energy. So if you come scared trying to pet him,
Yeah. Yeah.
just back up.
Do want
Yeah,
to?
yeah, because he feeds out of that. So I was like, so don't. I was like, relax. I was like, the dog is fine.
Yeah.
And I noticed that with a lot of dogs that are kind of. I don't take them to dog parks, but when I'm
Right.
at the park with them, people come over with their little, especially the little Chihuahuas, man. They
Oh,
think
no.
they're grown dogs. They're right after he. I was like, you know what? It's fine. He'll sit. He'll ignore the dog.
Yeah.
But if he notices that the dog is barking at me or coming toward me,
Yeah.
then he just turns around and he's like on a standby, like, okay,
It
now
stares.
what do you want to do? He's like, do you want to attack him, or because now I'm already getting pissed off and I'm gonna go after you?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's one thing. Like, it's. I mean, I think it can happen to any dog if you don't socialize them properly.
Yeah.
Like, but how do you socialize your dog? Do you take them out and just introduce them to so many X amount of people, or what is your strategy?
I start off first with when they're pups, maybe at like 3 to 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I take them up in my yard,
Right,
and I put
right.
a tarp. I put a tarp that makes noise. I throw a couple of bottled waters in there so they can make noise, just to
Oh.
get them used to noise.
Also, just so they won't be so skittish when things bang
Exactly.
around. Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
So once I feel that they're comfortable, the first thing I think I have about like 8 god kids.
Mhm.
I don't got kids, but I have a lot of god kids.
Yeah, yeah. Our culture's the same way. Everybody, I got a bunch of god kids. Yeah.
No, I usually bring them over.
Right.
And I let them interact with the puppies.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay.
I see what puppies, are kind of like, no, I don't want to kind of go.
Oh, you can really see the personality even that young. Like,
Exactly,
this is
yeah.
gonna be a type of puppy that's gonna be dangerous, or I need some more work.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty much what I do. Like with my dogs, like when they first come out, I have a lot of kids running around the house all the time, so they're always like petting the dog, putting their hands in the dog, and some dogs you just lay out like, okay, whatever, whatever, and then I let the dogs out when they're old enough around the live animals to see if they're very gamey, because they have that pit bull in them. I don't know if American bulldogs have that gaminess in them.
They do.
Okay. Because I let them like go around the chickens, go around the goats. I have goats, chickens. I have just crazy animals there. I look at the ones that are a bit gamey when they start crouching down, walking like a tiger type thing. We're like, oh no, you gotta pull you off, because they've killed a lot of my goats. Like I've seen them getting little baby goats. Just put them up and yoke them up by the neck, and then by the time I get to it, there's holes already.
That's it.
Yeah, so and I feed my dogs. All of them eat raw, so I have to, I have to train them in a way where the goat you're eating is just food. The goat in the field is not food, okay? And then
Yeah.
after a while, they get used to it. But yeah,
I think I'm the number one person that judges my dogs. I'm hard on myself,
right.
and I think you have to, because there's a lot of people that are kennel blind.
Yeah,
They don't see nothing wrong with their
everything's amazing. Everything's
dog.
amazing.
They have to learn. They have to cool hard.
Yeah.
If there's something that you don't like, cool that dog. Don't breed from it.
Yeah.
Let's try to get away from it.
Yeah.
And I've seen that too in the American Bulldog. They're kennel blinds. They go out there thinking their dog is great and stuff.
Yeah.
And then especially at the dog show, the judge picks their dog apart, man, and they feel offended. Like, nah,
I got a perfect dog, man.
He's like, this is a great dog. Yeah. That's another advice I think I will give. Newcomers is just kind of judge your dog, openly with an open mind.
Right.
Take critics as a learning experience.
Right.
I had I'll tell you, the guy that introduced me to the American Bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell him when I brought Diesel up, I asked him, judge my dog. What do you think? Because he was becoming a judge. He was doing the whole thing to become a judge.
Okay.
And take my dog apart. To see what I could do, to improve, or if the dog has any flaws, tell me. And he did, man. And I didn't take it in a bad way. I think I take critics more as a learning experience,
yeah.
And it makes me just want to do better. So that's another thing I think I would tell the newcomers. Don't get offended when somebody kind of judges your dog and they're telling you. I think it's for your own good and for the good of the dog. If you really want to get into the breed and start breeding, yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you on that one. Like one of my friends told me like I openly I told guys I want to stud my dog out, but I told them like specifically, I need a female with a better hocks, better straight line, better top line. And some of my friends were like, "Yo, why did you do that?" I'm like, "Bro, you don't understand. I'm trying to upgrade my next breeding. I understand you love Mighty Diesel. I love my boys, but you have to understand every dog doesn't come out perfect. So
exactly.
I told them, if you really want to get into breeding, get a female that has the assets that you need and pull off of it, and hopefully that will come out in the next breeding. And like you said, like many of them are kennel blind. They're like and I'm gonna segue this into when getting into the breeding game. Like, do you think you should solely focus on pedigree? Like, solely focus on pedigree rather than the outcome of what's coming out? Like, some people will be like, they'll get just like, that's off of so-and-so. And then the dog doesn't turn out the way it's supposed to turn out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
no. I know. Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, I kind of like to see the dog first.
Yeah.
And then I'll look at the pedigree.
Yeah.
But because in the pedigree, see, genetics works different ways. So you think the pedigree say, oh, I'm gonna get this. You might not end up getting the dogs that are behind the pedigree.
Right.
The genetics might go a different way. And you'll get something else, and you're like, shit, this dog didn't work out.
Yo, I just wasted my money on this.
Yeah, exactly. So I look at the dog, structure. That's one thing. I love structure.
Yeah.
So I try to look at structure, how balanced the dog is, top line, everything. And if, the phenotype, how is it going to look? Is it going to complement the female that I have?
Yeah.
And then I look at the pedigree like, well, his pedigree is nice, stacked. And I'm like, okay, let's see what's the outcome. I was like, I have a good feeling that they're going to produce well.
Yeah.
And sure enough, man, like right now, I just did an outcross, a guy up north here in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Brandon.
Okay.
His kennel name's Hard Time Kennel.
Hard Time Kennel. Okay.
I just did an outcross because with Diesel and my females, the blood was getting too tight already.
Right.
And I was trying to bring something else.
Yeah.
And he complimented my female well, and I'm like, man, you know what? I think this is gonna be a great outcome just to bring new blood to my line.
Right.
And start producing something better. And yeah, man, he brought a lot to the table. I saw what he was, his offspring, and he was overproducing himself, man. He was producing better than than what he really is. And I was amazed. I was like, you know what? I want some of that. I was like, I think it's gonna help my kennel better himself the way, you know, the way my vision is going. I think that's gonna help me. So, you know, and a lot of people are afraid to do that, to go out of their kennel, and it's like, why?
A lot of people are. So many people are focused on 3 times this, 4 times that, 6 times this, 8 times. I'm like, I don't care how many times you do it. If the dog is not destined to look the way it's supposed to look, it is what it is. You know, you don't realize like genetics. It's DNA. Like you can't produce yourself if you have kids 100% of the time. Like I don't know why you can't put the logic together. You know, like I don't understand. Like, and then they're so focused on like, and that's where the pride and ego comes from when they judge him at the shows. Like, what are you talking about? My thing is 6 times whatever. Like, no, my dog can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. It's 2 times whatever. This guy got championship blood. Like, sir, at the end of the day, your dog, they will look. The dog look, you know. And that's what I think is the ego. It's an ego drive for some men or some owners. It's like, no, I spent all this money because they have to rationalize the money spent. You know, I spent X amount of money for these dogs. They better be champions. If not, you're wrong. Which is totally totally off. And because my dogs, I don't really show my dogs. My dog, I just breed them for function. I just make sure that they're healthy. I try to make sure that I try to breed away from some of the allergies they have, like from skin rot and all that stuff. I don't really care about the show part of it because, I'm looking for longevity. Like, if somebody has my dog for 8 years, I'm like, well, that speaks for itself. It's right there. If somebody has a dog for 10 years, and there's a dog right there. What is the let's break it into 2. The vision for what is the ideal dog for you? Is it like a Mighty Diesel type, or what is your vision? What is the vision for Vergara Bulls?
You know what? Yeah, like my ideal one will be a Mighty Diesel, but kind of, you could say, with a better performance than what he is.
Okay.
I
mean, bite work. You talking about bite work and stuff, like bite work and all that mess, like the French ring or like that type of situation.
Yeah, he has the drive and everything. But he's a big dog. He's bully and everything, and he has the drive. But yeah, he's not focused at really what I want him to do.
Right.
Great dog. I love him and everything. So my vision is to accomplish that and have a dog that could do all that, but at the same time switch him off, and have a pet at the house.
Oh, you want that that quick turn off and off, like on and off switch, like it's nothing.
The way I'm going, I'm accomplishing it because I've noticed with these pups, I have a guy that bought one for me that he's doing bite work and everything.
Okay.
And he told me he's like, you know what? I'm amazed with this pup because, I give him a command and he could turn off like this.
Wow.
And I've had a situation where I've had used as a decoy. He's like my son, and the dog literally turned off, and he was a puppy again, just playing with my son and everything.
Oh, that's a big.
I called him right back to do work. He was there, and I'm like, that's great. That's good to hear, and I want to accomplish it. And but I still want that big Mighty Diesel look.
Yeah. No, I love the look, man. I love that. He looks like a big like an English bulldog with longer legs, but like more like more girth on him. So, what is the vision for Vergara Bulls going forward?
I have a couple of more breedings that I want to do. I am kind of want to start my own, say business, selling dog equipment, just random dog stuff. I've been working on it. It's something that my wife kind of brought it to my attention. And, and it's something that I could say it's a passion, but at the same time, it's an income that's gonna extra income that's gonna be coming in.
Of course.
So that's hopefully we could open a store in the future. Our kennel are still gonna be there. The dog shows, I like going to them
Right.
But it's just more. It's more the socialization that I have with the people that come, because they come from different states.
Right.
And it's just a big family, man. Once we get together, it's barbecues, and
Right.
we're there having fun. The wife meets the other wives, and it's just the whole experience. But hopefully, the name Vergara Bulls kind of stands out in different states, countries,
right.
just to get known, and
right.
that will be a good accomplishment. And then plus, the Vergara last name will be out there.
Of course, bro. Trust me, man. Yeah. Hopefully, God willing, one day, if I can bring one of those out to the Philippines. The Vergaras on the island I come from, and the residing island, huge family.
See? Yeah,
huge family.
Here we're a huge family too. Me here in Cali,
yeah,
huge family.
If I have some room in my kennel, I have 3 dogs in mind that I want to get into. All right, it's always gonna be an American Bulldog, South African Boer,
okay, yeah,
or it's tossed between Bull Mastiff or Dog de Bordeaux, right?
Okay.
Bully breed, but the wife loves white dogs. I told her, let's get a Great Pyrenees. It's too fluffy,
yeah.
too fluffy. She wants it just all white, like maybe a little bit, whatever, but. She just loves that. Yeah, she said it reminds me of a polar bear. That's what she's into.
Give me a like, follow me up. I have a IG is Vergara Bulls. Facebook, same thing, Vergara Bulls Kennels. My website is vergarabullskennels.com. Hey, any questions, anything you guys want to ask, I'm free to answer anything. If you guys want to talk dogs or whatever it is, I'm open anytime.
I hope you like that video. Check this video out to potentially win 1,000 pesos. I'm giving it to 5 winners, so it's 5,000 pesos. It's going to be my 5,000 peso giveaway. Check this video out. Click the details. Super simple. Just like, sub, the usual, and comment down below in that video about video ideas you want me to do. And from there, I will choose a winner. The takeaway from this is when it comes to business, it's hard, it's tough. I'm going through it, you're going through it. We are here to build and help each other. However, for those of you who want more advice, more opinion, more time with me one-to-one, I am offering one-on-one consultations. This is my email, and at the present moment, I am offering just three slots, 20-minute slots for 3 people on Saturdays. So comment down below or email me as to when we can arrange this, and I'm offering once again 3 20-minute slots on Saturday for a free consultation. If you like me, if you like the way we converse together, the way we can get to know each other, and if you like me, I can take you on as a client. More than anything, it's a way for us to connect and grow. So once again, this is Ghost Vergara. Thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for watching the video. And thank you for getting us to over 5,000 subscribers. Even with this small channel, it's a big milestone for me, and over 1 million views already. So it's a very big milestone for me, being that I'm a small channel and I have people that watch like you. So I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.